It's less than 45 days to Election Day, and Trump's team is panicking. Every day, Trump goes out there and says stupid things, and they are amplified by running mate J.D. Vance, who adds the element of creepy to everything stupid Trump says. With a campaign in turmoil, the Republicans are doing what they do best, trying to rig the election any way they can. The breaking news today is that their attempts to rig the vote in Nebraska has failed. But the really big news from this story is that two prominent Nebraska Republicans, a state senator and the governor of Nebraska, are responsible for slamming the door on rigging the vote. And no, I didn't slip up. And no, it's not a joke. Two Nebraska Republicans stepped in and put an end to rigging the vote in Nebraska. And here's the ironic part. Although the Republican attempt to rig the vote in Nebraska was sleazy, it was perfectly legal. Republicans were trying to change how Nebraska chooses its electors in the Electoral College. Now, the Constitution leaves it to the states as to how electors are chosen. As a result, 48 states employ a winner-takes-all system for their slate of electors. Only Nebraska and Maine use an apportionment system. In Nebraska, whichever presidential candidate wins in each separate congressional district gets that elector. The district that encompasses Omaha is purple, leaning a little blue, so it can probably be counted on as sending one Democratic elector to vote in the Electoral College. Biden, for example, won by 7 points there. In a tight race, that one vote could matter, and as a result, Nebraska Republicans want to change the selection process to winner takes all, ensuring that Trump will get all 5 electoral votes. Again, that's perfectly legal, even if it is pretty sleazy. But State Senator Mike McDonald, a Republican, voted no, and the bill did not pass. Now, technically, what Senator McDonald did was refuse to vote to end the filibuster. Here's how fellow Republican Don Bacon summarizes what happened.
And so this will likely have to wait till after the election, and we can debate about it in the future legislature. And Senator McDonald, he represents his district, and he campaigned on it. And so I understand where he's coming from. The problem is when you're only one of 2 states, it brings in a lot of outside money. It favors one side over the other clearly, and so it causes distortions when you're one of 2 states not doing winner take all.
Mm-hmm. But can you understand the concerns about changing the law so close to Election Day?
Yes, I do, and I think it would have been better off if this could have been handled in the spring. I believe, though, when it's all said and done, it's going to be in the future legislature to tackle this. This came up also in 2016, and the Republicans were 1 vote shy.
Now, this is where the story gets even more interesting. The Republican governor of Nebraska, Jim Pillen, who is in favor of making the change, announced today, Tuesday, that he will not call a special legislative session. Pillen said in a statement that Republicans still do not have the 33 votes needed to overcome the filibuster in the legislature, saying he and his team have worked relentlessly to find the votes. He stated further that based on the lack of 33 votes, I have no plans to call a special session on this issue prior to the 2024 election. I am grateful to the many Nebraskans who made their voices heard during this process. So even though Pillen was in favor of converting to winner take all, he stayed committed to the process. This is the headline today. Republican governor stands on principle. Or alternatively, Republican governor refuses to lick Trump's boots. So somewhere out there, even in the reddest states, there are Republicans interested in saving the party and not kowtowing to Donald Trump.
We live in the greatest country in the world. To maintain our greatness, we need more focus on consensus building and less on hating our fellow Americans. We need a country over party agenda. We need the moral courage to do what's right. We need more statesmen and fewer partisans.
And no, that's not a punchline. Trust me, Governor Pillen is no Adam Kinzinger. In fact, he's done and said some pretty reprehensible things. But he's at least acting on principle. And as long as there's a principle, Well, then it's time for Tim Walz to go there and campaign and teach Nebraskans that their Midwest values are aligned more with Democrats than the party of Trump. I'm Anthony Vincent Gallo for Occupy Democrats.